All right, guys. Welcome to the very first installation of my journey from 370 or so dollars to my ultimate goal of 25K so that I can become a full-time trader. Okay. I took some of the profits I've already made on some previous trades and took the rest of my money out, and I'm just using gains at this point. Um, Something that you're going to hear from me over and over again on this channel is don't play with money you aren't willing to lose. Okay. I'm pretty sure I was dumb and I said use last time. You want to use that money, but you don't play with money you aren't willing to lose. So I am specifically using money that I am not investing any more into right now. And I'm trying to get to that 35K goal. I have 25K. 35 would be great too, but whichever. And I want to introduce you guys to a little fun segment that we're going to try moving forward. Um, Obviously, the name of this channel is Stocktail Hour. Okay. Sort of like cocktail hour. We want to have the fun play on words. Uh, so my lovely producer, Dan Brown, made me a not so cocktail as just a couple shots of tequila. So, and you might be able to hear Dan over in the background over there, but to stocks and trying to get to that financial freedom. All right, let's take a sip and then let's jump right into this. So, I started out, I'm going to be honest with you. Started out with about $311 once I decided to actually do this. Right around there. Okay. So, July 31st, I figured let's try this for the month of August. Um, Test it out, see what I can do with it. I set up a spreadsheet, which might include in the description. Don't necessarily want everybody to have access to that. That might be something down the road that we might do a Patreon for, to where you can get some of the analysis that I have more in depth. Because these videos aren't going to be incredibly in depth. I'm mostly just going to go over the plays that I had, some of the stupid mistakes I made that I don't want you guys to make too, that I'm going to learn from, and some of the great plays that I did that I hope that you guys jump in on. Not necessarily the plays I did in particular, but some of the strategies. Because let's get this straight, guys. Let's read that bottom together real quick. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Duh. Okay. Got to get that out of the way early. So if you see here, I know that says $511. Okay. It's really $311. I did something dumb this week. I put $200 of my own money, which I said I wasn't going to do, into this account to try and give myself more firepower. Okay. I'm going to pull that out at the end of the week, so these numbers will be more accurate by then. Dumb move. Wasn't supposed to do it. But the big thing on this channel, we're transparent. You're not going to find a more transparent guy here. Okay. You can even see in that bottom right-hand corner there on Robinhood, I do follow some stock guys on Twitter. One of them is Yates. Great guy. Really love what he's doing. I don't always jump into his plays. Always do your own due diligence and research on a stock before you jump in. Look at the charts. Do some digging. See if the company's legit or not. I have a couple on there that I'm just looking at. Haven't jumped in on plays at all or anything, but I'm just there just to see what's going on every day or so. Just to see if maybe there's a dip opportunity for me to buy in, or if there's news that's going to happen if I want to jump in real quick. But I do follow people on Twitter. Probably going to make a Twitter account as well for this channel in particular. We do have an Instagram. It's called Stocktail Hours, Stocktail_hours. Go find us on Instagram. Check us out. Going to be posting some content over there. Not sure what yet, but we're going to have fun with it. That's what this whole thing is about. We're trying to have fun, and we're trying to get you to that financial freedom and help people see that, you can have these huge dips like I clearly do on this chart and still be okay and still be comfortable and still be confident. You're going to have bad days, guys. The stock market right now is volatile. Most volatile maybe ever. But let's jump right in. $311 on Robinhood. Okay. Decided I'm going to do this. First thing I do, think to myself, what'll get me the most money the fastest? Okay. Let me tell you, that is a scary thing to try and do. Again, if you're not using money you aren't willing to lose, don't do stuff like this. Okay. I jumped in some options plays. I don't know everything about options, but I felt like I was comfortable enough and knew enough about them that this might be a good route to go. So I put that 311, the majority of it, into Mara calls. I think it was for $3, $3 calls, okay? And the price point was like 8 cents a contract at that point, okay? I had, I believe, 15 or so. And here's the first thing that I found out really quick. Don't go heavy-handed into an option, any of these contracts, unless you have a day trade. I didn't have a day trade. Look at what happened. It went from buying those options, them immediately skyrocketing, whole way to 9 a.m. on August 3rd, I was up to $1,255 in my account. Preface that, it's really about $1,055 because, again, put firepower in there, which I won't do again. Keep me accountable, guys. That's part of what this is for, is I don't want to be stupid and do things that I'm telling you guys not to do. Help me out. We all need help sometimes. So my account more than tripled in a day. If I had the ability to sell right then, I would have. I didn't. So I held. Okay. And I was in a couple other smaller swing plays at that point. I was in AVGR just because I thought, that might be a good play to get into. I got in pretty low, around 50 cents or so. And I had been reading up that there might be some PR release middle of August or so. But I'm going to be honest. Again, big thing that we do on this channel. I was just impatient. I didn't want my money to just sit there forever. And I wanted the ability to use it somewhere else if I thought that it could do a lot more. So I took some of that money out and I started pushing into options again. Okay. As you can see, 511 right here, whole way up to triple my account, couldn't sell. Here comes the next day. I saw it drop real heavy in the same day. Next day, 7 a.m. I'm still up about $200 here. I didn't exit it because Mara specifically runs with BTC. If you don't know what Bitcoin is, what rock do you live under? Okay, let's be honest. This, I knew, ran pretty much simultaneously in conjunction with it. Mara is a patent group, but they also hire Bitcoin miners, okay? Before, they were only able to produce about a single Bitcoin a day. Right now, they just employed more miners and have the ability to mine up to 8 a day. And on top of that, they're debt free. They're not like other companies. Zero debt. They just technically increased their revenue ability by 8 times. And it runs with Bitcoin. Seemed like a no-brainer to me, especially because Bitcoin was pushing up to that 12K mark. Okay. The reason it dropped right here, two different reasons, was Bitcoin started to drop, and there was a SEC filing going around about a public offering. It's not a direct offering. There is a difference between those two things. Public offerings mean that they can basically happen whenever. It's not really diluting things entirely too much, whereas a direct offering, you're diluting the stock. That is going to shoot down because they're setting a price for that stock. Like, let's say Mara was, I think, at about $5 at that height there, a 475 or something. And it dipped the whole way down to, I think it was in the $3-something range after that and the Bitcoin thing. All because people thought it was, I don't know if the confusion was they thought it was a direct offering, but a direct offering, let's say they would have said, we're going to have 1 million shares at $3. Okay. That's going to dilute the stock. That's going to shoot it down. You're probably going to have people getting prices for it right around there. So if you ever run into a direct offering like that, my thing that I do is I wait for the dip. I wait for it to get to about that point where the direct offering was set at, or a little bit below even. Buy that and then sell high. Ride it out till the offering's done, and then it can run again. So with this, it wasn't a direct offering, but people were scared, so they started selling. So we got down the whole way to 583. And this is all from Monday the 1st, I believe. No, the 3rd. Monday the 3rd. Wait, let me double check here. Yeah, Monday the 3rd was when I bought those options, okay? Tuesday is when it started to drop dramatically. And then here comes Wednesday. Wednesday shot right back up pretty high. Okay. This is Thursday. And I held until Friday. And I can't remember exactly where I sold. Let's just go look at my account information real quick at the history. See where I sold those Mara options at. Okay. So here are my recent trades and everything, and we'll cover all those different things, but so you can see all the different things. One of the things that I really hate about Robinhood and just stocks in general is how often you try and put in a stock to buy at, a call or a put. I don't really do puts because I'm a bull at heart. I believe that why would I bet against the economy? I just don't like the premise, which screws me sometimes, but I'd rather stick to that principle than, bet against the economy. But you can see here, there are a lot of times where, because options are delayed, the price fluctuates so heavily that it can't even sell at whatever price you want to sell it at sometimes, or you can't even buy the option at a certain price either. You have to wait till it gets within a certain period, like a certain dollar figure. So I sold the Mara ones, and you can see all these other little swings that I was in. Here's 5 contracts at 80 cents. I bought them at 8. And then that was smart because I had 15, I believe, at that point. And I thought to myself, let's not be stupid. Let's get some of this money on the way up. So I did. I got everything that I put into Mara and some gains. Okay. So no matter what happened with it, I was good. Because then I held, I believe, until... Oh, I'm looking the wrong way. This is one of the beautiful things about this podcast. You just never know where I'm going to go. So there we go. That's actually the one that I sold 2 contracts at one of the heights. That's the one that I was just trying to mention. I sold 2, and it was only 10 contracts now that I'm thinking about it. I sold 2 of the contracts at $1.15, and I bought them at 8 cents. Okay. I made all of my money back and more. I think it was $150 worth of gains just by selling 2 of the contracts. Still had 8 left. Okay. Let's see where else I sold. And you know what? We're being dumb. But you knew that already. You're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, what is this idiot doing? He doesn't even know how to use Robinhood on here. And you know what? You'd be right. Because I always do it on my phone. I think Robinhood on my phone's a much easier process. I like doing Webull on my laptop, though. And let's change that number for a third time. I had 7 contracts, as it clearly shows right here. Let's look at the history of this. Okay. So I did start buying calls on the 3rd. You can see I bought 3 and then I bought 5. And those were at 65 and 45. I averaged down a little bit and I went, where I thought I needed to because I had faith in Mara at that point. Let's go look and see what Mara was at on August 3rd. That way you can see exactly what price point I was buying this stuff at. Got to go back to the month view, though. Okay, so I bought them at the open right here. Okay, that was the higher one. And then when it dipped down right around in this dip right here, when I started to see that it was moving momentum again, I bought lower because options, again, are volatile. So it recognized that the pattern was sharply dropping. So it made the options even cheaper than what I had bought previously, even though I bought when Mara was that same exact price. And I bought those options at like 43 cents, I think is what it had before, when I initially bought the ones in the morning at 65 cents. And then this happened. Dipped heavy. I sat through it. And then it just kept going. And I sold 2 of the contracts right around there. And then I think I sold the other 5 in this area or so. That was my big play for that week. That's what made me 81% up on my account for that week. Okay. This week, not going so hot for me right now. Stock market has really been struggling the past few days, but from the patterns that I've been seeing over the past 5 or 6 months or so, we'll have a couple really good days. Then there's going to be a period where it corrects itself, goes down for 2-3 days even, and then we're going to get a reversal. That's what I'm hoping for right now to help me with the rest of this week. And you'll get an update next week on if I was right about that. I hope I am. If not, you guys are more than willing to say I told you so in the comments. I'm fine with that. So that is what got me the whole way up to this last week, where at one point, I was up that huge amount, and then my week ended right here. Let's see if it'll let me hover. Right about there. So I was up $250 or so, which is fantastic. I cannot complain about that. And then you see the rest of what's been happening this week, but we'll save that for next week. All right, let's switch over to Webull now. So this account, I really don't use Webull very often except for the charts. I just love how in-depth their charts are on here. If you guys don't have a Webull account or a Robinhood account, go ahead and check out the share text underneath here in the link in the description. I'm going to have both Robinhood referrals and Webull referrals. Great thing about either one of these, if you don't have them, is if you sign up, Webull specifically, I think you have to fund your account with $100. You get 2 free stocks, and so do I. That's a win-win for both of us, and it's a great platform. Robinhood, you can just sign up, don't need to fund any money at all, and you get a free stock. And so do I with the referral program. Again, everybody wins with that. I love Webull specifically for the charts, like I just mentioned. I think it's really, really helpful for figuring out patterns and using some of the other indicators to tell what's happening with the stock. So I bought Mara options on my Robinhood account, but I bought Mara stock on this account. And you can see right here at the top, I started at $70 when I decided that I was going to use this account specifically for swing trades. I have a cash account on Webull. So technically, if you have settled funds, you can day trade. Okay. I didn't realize right then how complicated that was going to be. So I haven't changed it to a margin account. I might eventually. But right now I'm fine because I've just made this my dedicated swing account. I started at $70 here. I bought Mara at about $1.30 or so. Okay. And then it shot to the moon. It got upwards of 550, I think, at one point, which is where this height is. Okay. My account went from $70 to $255 in 5 days, 6 days, 6 trading days maybe. And I was still under the impression that Bitcoin was still going to go up. And I was perfectly fine. And Bitcoin still will go up, by the way. You can listen to Dan Brown's podcast on You, Me, and BTC. He knows everything about Bitcoin. But part of the problem with why Mara dropped was that whole public offering that people got scared about and sold off. So I didn't take my gains right there because I was still going to swing it for longer. But I did see the downtrend coming. So I sold off at about that mark right there, 216.85. Okay. So I was up 185% on my account at that point. Now, I got into NTEC, which I also believed would have a good PR this month, and I got fidgety, and I didn't see it moving much at all. I know that there's a golden cross pattern right now, if you look at the charts, which we can cover in a different video, but I'm just impatient sometimes. And that is something that I'm trying to learn to get better with trading, because you can't be an emotional trader. Um, I wasn't emotional with Mara. I knew what it was capable of, and I was willing to hold for as long as I needed to until the chart told me otherwise. Not other people, not a sell-off that people were scared about, but as soon as I saw that sell-off, I still waited for a minute, and I saw that it wasn't going to have a reversal pattern yet. Once that scare subsides, and once Bitcoin decides to run hard again, I'll happily jump back in this stock. I think it's fantastic. I jumped into NTEC, like I mentioned. Didn't do much, so I dropped it. And then I jumped into Boxel just this morning, actually. But I guess that's for a different video. That's for next week. You won't know what happens here until then. You have a little bit of a hint, but, that's fair enough. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's been a really crappy week on the stock market so far. I'll let you know for next week's video, an update as to where I am, but I'm really hoping it reverses like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, because a lot of people need it. It's not just me. It has been a rough week for trading. That being said, last week was incredible. I stuck to my principles. I knew what I was in stocks for. I had heavy hands. I should have sold some when I had the chance. And remember, if you're going to do options, which I'm not a financial advisor, please be safe. Give yourself that cushion with the day trade. It can get very deadly very quick, or you can make stupid money very quickly, and you want to be able to get those gains when you can, because then you could have a week like this week where everything can turn upside down and you aren't really sure where to turn. And the last thing I want for you guys, or for anybody, for Dan, myself, anyone watching, is for you to lose money. And again, never, ever put money in that you aren't willing to lose. This has been Stocktail Hour. Stay classy.